Hey up, Mr. Josh here, and welcome to another Listen and Understanding video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to click the link underneath this video. That will take you to my website. There you can download a free question sheet, open the questions. Under the title you'll see a link to YouTube. Watch that video as many times as you like, answer the questions, then come back here to see how many you got right and wrong. So here we are again, another video. Where are we? It's 15, I think. And this time it's the turn of Coronation Street. So probably some of you, even if you've never been to England, have heard of Coronation Street. It's the longest running soap opera in the world. I can't remember when it got started, a long time ago, in the days of black and white when people talked in very strange ways. And in this episode is about a character by the name of Maria who's on a blind date. A blind date, by the way, is when you meet someone without really knowing them. You get set up, or internet dating as well. I had a lot of trouble finding a video clip that I could use for this because most of the clips are only like 1 minute long and they don't have any like real story to them. And I always try to find a video that has some kind of story or teaches something. So yeah, it was with a great deal of pleasure that I found this. And I suddenly realised that having not seen this programme for 7 years, I think I'm starting to forget English. Because the first time I listened to this I thought, what? Who? Hey? Quite a few times. I've forgotten what a strange accent Mancunian is. And a lot of the characters have changed. In fact, of all the people that you see in this, the only person I recognise is Maria from 7 years ago. And she's been there quite a long time. But anyway, time to get into this because I've just been told my battery has only 15% left, so we need to do this really rather fast. So, without any further ado, let's get into this. Maria's latest date turns out to be a dog fetishist. Question 1. According to Michelle, woman behind the bar, who is the man sitting at the table with Maria? So, according to Michelle, Maria is sitting with her latest very eligible date. If someone's very eligible as a date, especially men, it basically means that they're well house trained, that they have money, good manners, look good, smell nice. You know, it's the sort of person that you would consider marrying, not the sort of person that you practice with. Question 2. Maria's date tells her that he was posted overseas for 5 years. What does this mean? So to be posted overseas means that the company you work for has sent you to work in another country. That's overseas. And it doesn't literally mean that it has to be overseas. You know, if you lived in Spain and you got a job in France, it's still regarded as an overseas posting. The times that you'll hear this expression most is when you think about the army. So Army, Navy, Air Force, they often do overseas postings. Question 3. Did Maria's date enjoy his work in Hong Kong? No, he didn't really enjoy the work. He says he found it quite dull, although the perks were quite good. Perks is like benefits of some kind. Like it's a perk of my job that I never have to go to work. I just turn on the camera and sit here talking nonsense to you. Question 4. Having heard about her date's time in Hong Kong, what does Maria ask him? Maria asks him, so what brought you back then? Don't say your mother. I don't know what the whole don't say your mother thing is. I'm guessing there's a huge chunk of the story that I've missed and there was something weird about a previous date and the mother. Question 5. Is Maria's date interested in getting married? So he says that part of the reason why he came back to the UK is that he couldn't see himself settling down. The idea of a man saying that he wants to settle down basically means that he wants to have one woman in his life, get married, have children, the Volvo estate car, all that sort of rubbish, including the family dog. Woof. Question 6. What excuse does Maria's date use for removing his tie? So he uses that classic excuse for getting naked. Is it me or is it getting hot in here? Men have been using that excuse for years. Oddly enough, quite a few women I've met also use that very same excuse. Question 7. Maria's date asks, haven't weirded you out? What does this mean? So this is a bit of an Americanism, the whole weirded out thing. If someone gets weirded out, it means they're a little bit confused, possibly a bit scared. You know, you're not really sure of what the situation is. That's what it means to be weirded out. Question 8. Why is Maria surprised by what her date is wearing under his shirt? So she's very surprised by the dog collar because, well, it's not the kind of thing that the head of a financial department would be wearing. Businessmen generally... Actually, I was just about to say that businessmen and politicians generally don't do this kind of thing, but recent history has proved that that's not actually true. If you want perversion, go find a businessman or a politician. Question 9. In her younger days, Maria used to wear a studded collar herself sometimes. True or false? So this is true, but you've got to remember that at this point in the proceedings, she still thinks that the reason he wears a studded collar is because he's into punk music or something like that. Think of the Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten, all that sort of thing. Question 10. Maria used to have a job looking after dogs when she was younger. True or false? This is true, and you might be thinking to yourself, what? Huh? I didn't hear that. She says she used to work in a kennels. Now, there's a little bit of a strange bit goes on here. She says that she used to turn up the music and howl her head off. Now, howling, as in the dog, is the old arrrr sort of sound. Whereas howling in the sense that she means it is to sing badly and really loudly. Her date is getting completely the wrong impression and yeah, he's setting himself up for a fall. By the way, if you watch this with the closed captions on, subtitles, more fool you, because the subtitles on YouTube are completely and utterly wrong. Hilariously wrong. I don't think it likes the old Manchester accent. Question 11. Does Maria's date think he has found his perfect woman in Maria? Absolutely. He says if I was making a list, you'd be ticking every box. Question 12. What does Maria want to see on her date's phone? Well, Maria wants to see some photographs of him in his full gear. She's still imagining that he dresses as a punk rocker and dyes his hair pink or something like that. Oh, how wrong you can be. Question 13. Which of the following best describes Maria's reaction to the photo she sees on the phone? A. Bafflement. B. Flabbergasted. C. Irked. So the answer to this is B. Flabbergasted. There used to be a famous comedian called Frankie Howard in England who used to use this expression a lot, that he was flabbergasted. That his ghast has never been so flabbered, or his flabber had never been so aghast. I can't remember which way around it was. A. Bafflement is basically confused. If you're like, you could be baffled by a question, like, duh, I don't know what this means. That's bafflement, it's confusion. And C. Irked is when something annoys you, you get irked. Question 14. Maria thought that her date was into punk music. What was he actually into? So Maria's date is actually into dressing and living like a dog. He has his own dog basket, collar, lead, the whole bit. There's some strange people in it. I feel almost normal knowing that there's people around like that. It makes what I do seem trivial. Question 15. Maria tells Michelle that her date is really sweet. What does Michelle say in reply? Oh well, clearly he's very well trained. As in you would train a dog, someone has obviously trained him as well. In fact, most married women would tell you that they have to do that with their husbands anyway, so it's not that far from reality, is it? Question 16. What reason does Maria give for not wanting to go anywhere else tonight? Well, she uses that very famous one, I've got to get home and relieve the babysitter, which is a total lie. Babysitters want to be there as long as possible because they get paid by the hour. Question 17. Does Maria lie to her date about not sharing his secret with Michelle? Absolutely. She says, no, I haven't told a soul. My lips are sealed. Not that there's anything to hide, you know, but no. Question 18. Maria says that she is stuffed. What does this mean in this example? So in this example, to be stuffed means she's eaten too much and she just can't eat anymore. However, you can be stuffed in other ways. Like I could say that I'm pretty stuffed with money at the minute, meaning I don't have enough of it. Or you can think about it more like being in trouble. So if you did something at work that you shouldn't really be doing and you get caught, then you're stuffed. You're going to lose your job maybe. Question 19. What does the waiter offer to do with Maria's leftover food? So he offers to put the food in a doggy bag. And this does not mean that there's a dog in the bag. It's basically an old trend of putting leftover food from a restaurant into some kind of wrapper so that people can take it home to their dogs and let them eat it. Saves the food going to waste. And finally, question 20. Complete the following said by Maria. So I'll just read this off for you from here. Is that a joke? So what if he dresses like a dog? He's not harming anyone. At which point her date just leaves and looks like he doesn't want to ever see her again, and especially not the waiter as well. I guess revealing your secrets on the first date, not a good thing. You should wait a little while, maybe second or third date before you come out with your strange fetishes. So that was Coronation Street, a nice short one this time after the really long TED one last week, which, oh, that took so long to edit. That was really bad. I wish I hadn't done that. At least this one's going to be a little bit easier to edit. So I hope that you learned something from this. I'm guessing you might not have learned as much as you would like because of the accent and the fact that the subtitles wouldn't have worked very well. Like I say, I checked and the subtitles are utter rubbish on YouTube for this particular little episode. But, you know, maybe you want to flick through and have a look at a few more examples of this accent on YouTube. Coronation Street has, I don't know how many hundreds of little clips that you can watch. And maybe you can find a streaming service and watch it every week like half of Britain does. So before I leave, I'm going to make the usual requests of hit that like button, share this video, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and maybe watch a playlist. I'm going to go off and have a cup of tea and another mint. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch the video I released on Monday. And I'll see you next week for another video. Bye for now.